This live session at King Mighty Official. It's such a beautiful day. I hope you had a nice Easter wherever you're joining in from. I'm really excited to see you and thank you for joining these sessions wherever you join in from. It makes a lot. I know it takes quite, something to look out for when they start and, kind of getting ready for them, but it's always worth it. It's always worth it because we are product of what we listen to most of the time, all the time, because your subconscious stores this information. Whether you're learning it's possible or impossibilities, then you heap up on that and you become somebody who either believes things can be done or you become somebody who doesn't believe things can be done. Okay, I'm just gonna check to make sure everything is working while we wait for other people to join us. Um, it's a beautiful day out there. It's been Easter Sunday, now it's Monday, and I hope you made the most of it. And wonderful. Okay, wonderful. YouTube doesn't seem to be online for some reason, but I think it is now. Okay, YouTube is. I'll just double check if we are on Facebook as well, live. Right, so brilliant. I think we are on Facebook as well. Excellent stuff. So, talking about starting an online business, a wildly successful and sustainable business. That's what these live sessions have been all about. Basically, you getting to start a business that is successful but also sustainable. Very important. Some people have seen success and it's disappeared and they can't replicate it, and that's a problem because you want success that you can actually reproduce. So that's exactly what these live sessions are all about: success, but sustainability. Sustainability, like I always mentioned, comes from doing what you love to do, right? If it's online business, it doesn't always have to be something that you don't really like. You can always niche, major into something that you really love to do, or a product that you feel has a connection with you, and then you will not be reminded, to do something about it or to actually promote or to talk about this, right? And that's what happened when I started out in branding and marketing. It's something that I like to do, so I find it easy to really talk about marketing, branding as well. I find it really easy. So when I started a business within that area, a billionaire search in, just so to be specific, or someone is here, Dante. Thank you for joining this live session. I can see you're there. Okay, so when we started, that was my greatest driver. Basically something that I really loved at the time. And I used to look at websites. I started at building websites, but I wanted to find out an easy way to do it, right? Because sometimes, we spend a lot of time, waste a lot of time on, building a nice website and all of those kind of things. But usually that doesn't form part of your results. However, it might help you, and usually it does because it's part of branding. Usually it does help you in terms of people staying with you. So, for example, customers or your clients who come to your website, they being able to stay, the user experience, it all depends on how beautiful you've made it, how user friendly, you've made your hub, right? And of course, having useful content, that is also something else, useful in terms of it's readable, all those kind of things. So when we started out with branding at Billionaire Search, that's really something that I love to do, and I found it quite, easy to sustain. And I didn't care about earning the money for, for quite some time. We tested different things, tried different methods of doing different things, learned a lot of different platforms until we became really good. And now we have a business that we actually earn from. So it's really, really important when it comes to sustainability, thinking about sustainability when running an online business. Right. So today we are going to talk about what's really killing the 3 things that will kill your chances of success when you start an online business. Again, these sessions are really all about, building a sustainable business, right? But that also includes you getting to know where the enemy is, and the enemy to your success. Very, very important to find. As you already know, a quote by what's his name? Sun Tzu. If you know your enemy and you know yourself, you win every battle. And he says, if you know the enemy but don't know yourself, you lose. Okay, you lose most of them. And he also says, if you know yourself but don't know the enemy, you lose almost every time. Very important to remember. You've got to study your enemy, right? You've got to study. And in this case, the enemies of success when it comes to online business are these 3 things that I'm going to discuss with you today. Right now, it's Easter Monday, so this is not going to be long. It's going to be really short. But hey, short, long, it doesn't matter, because eventually it's the information that you get. Are you able to action it? Because that's what matters really most, right? Are you able to action? Are you able to do something with what you hear? It doesn't matter who preaches. If you don't action the message, it was useless, right? It was useless, and today I'm not preaching, but hey, I'm like one of the preachers. I'm a teacher, this time a business teacher, a rich teacher, trying to tell you this is it and this is that. Very, very important. So let's dive right into the things that will actually kill your chances of success when it comes to online business. And one of them, point number one, is overthinking. Now that almost kills everything, right? It kills relationships. It kills any type of progress. But so it is with online business. If you overthink things, you're going to fail. I'll tell you. And the reason is this, the best ways to do things online have been hidden in plain sight. And what I mean by that is people think that there is always a trick on how to do something. There is always a trick. If you give somebody a straightforward answer, they're not going to take it most of the time. But you, my friend, who is watching this live session, whether recorded or live, listen and listen good, right? It's very easy. Usually, the easiest things to do are the ones that will produce you the greatest results. And I'm talking about the things that you already know will work. But then you go out there to look for more, sneaky ways to do things cheap, and you look for free ways to drive traffic, and all those different kind of things, right? They are not bad, but hey, what do you benefit over the long haul, right? Trying to find out all these kind of things, and then it's just like saying, look, I know the entrance to my house, but I'll go through the neighbor's house to come to my house. That's what most people do, right? So very, very important, to remember Overthinking kills almost everything, including online business. It kills, it destroys, because um, a lot of times you have an idea which is genuine and will make you money, right? It will help you to grow a real business, a solid business. And before long, you start to think about it. And then you keep thinking about it. And before long, you come up with useless suggestions saying, well, it's not any good. I don't think I know how it will fail, you know. So you find out within yourself all the reasons why it won't work. You don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have the other. You're waiting for a perfect start. And one thing that I know for sure is there is never a perfect start. You have to get started now when there is so much heat. When it's almost impossible to get started, that's when you ought to really start. And I'm telling you, I've seen this many times. There will never be a perfect opportunity. Every time there will always be something. So very important to remember, overthink the moment you overthink things, and I'll tell you what to do, right? To avoid overthinking. But before you overthink, you will get the ideas, you will get the solution, and most times you know what to do, right? Maybe you have an idea, maybe I'm sharing something that you really agree with on this live session, and you're like, well, I'm going to action that. And then you go ahead and do some weird stuff, right? You do something else. So what happened? You had what I shared, you loved it, you embraced it, and you thought, oh, that's a nice, nice maybe method I can use to do so and so, or maybe to drive traffic. And then when you went away, now you started looking for other methods. Now, it's not bad to do extra research, but sometimes even when you find those other methods, now you're going to question them. Maybe you're now going to look for cheaper methods, right? So it's okay to think, through things, but I'll tell you what, many times the best ideas don't come from the brain, the thinking mind. They don't. They are by inspiration. And when you get to reason down, to reason out those things, they will never make sense. They will never make sense. And I'll give you an example. One guy that I really remember very well, Napoleon Hill. He says Carnegie gives him you know, a mandate or something, like some work to do without pay, and says to him, look, go find out the secret to success, right? And of course, he went out to find out the secret to success, and he spent 20 years without payment, right? Now, I'm not sure if he got paid once in a while, maybe he got some money from here, but it took 20 years to gather the entire philosophy together, to put together his philosophy. 20 years, right, of research. Now, most of his family, of course, they thought, well, this guy is crazy. We better call, the doctor, right? They almost took him away, and they almost collected, put money together to get him to hospital because they knew he had a problem, brain damage at the moment, at the time. So you see, that's something that he received from Carnegie. And if he had overthought it, no matter how difficult it was to do, Napoleon Hill did not think it. Of course, there are times when he wanted to give up, he said, but hey, think about it. If he considered the things that he would have gone through in order to give up, he would never have started on that journey. And the other example that I have is the airplane, right? First person who came up with that idea, I'm not sure they are called the Wright brothers or something like that. Think about what happened. Nobody agreed. Nobody, because everybody else is thinking about it. They are trying to reason it out. But they received the idea by inspiration, right? Insights. So very important to understand when to act. Once you receive an idea, remember that that idea is not coming from your brain, right? So action it before your brain gets involved, okay? And of course, there is place where your brain will come in to the planning, but you're better off having gotten started in the first place, okay? So that's very, very important. And yeah, so that's point number one about, one of the things that are killing your business. The first thing, is really, really overthinking. The other thing is lack of planning, right? Point number two is lack of planning. That's one thing that really kills. Now, if you don't plan, somebody said you're planning to fail. And it's not enough to plan once a year. It's best to plan every single day. Every day have a plan. And I'm not talking about the plan to see your dream come true, but I'm talking about also the plan to action it, right? Maybe you have a business plan, you've put it down. Yes, that's fine. Now, every day, even if it's a mini kind of project, have a plan for every day. What are you going to do about it today, right? And what do you see yourself doing about it, or what do you want to have achieved by, in 1 month's time, and in 2 months, and in 5 months? Where do you want to be, right? Very, very important to kind of take some steps towards this. Because if you don't plan, you have already planned to fail. So planning is very, very important. And I got a thought a few days ago, and I thought to myself, look, if I don't plan, my business will never go anywhere, right? Because we were trying to get established and into another country, and there were quite a number of things to do, but we also needed a plan that is bulletproof. And I'll tell you what I mean by a bulletproof plan. That's a plan through which you've seen the beginning, the end from the beginning. You kind of see out the plan. You write out the plan, so you see where you want to go. Maybe you want $1 million, right? Maybe every month or every 5 months. So it's up to you. So you lay out your plan and say, hey, I'm going to sell such a number of items, right? But if I don't, what could hinder me from selling them? So you plan it out, what could actually come between you and achieving it, and then you write the solutions on the other side, as many solutions as you can, right? Now, they don't have to be too many, but they should just be enough for you to be confident about, especially when taking action, right? So you put on one side the different things that could stop you from moving to from one stage to another, maybe from making the sales. What could prevent you from making the 500, you know, maybe 500 or 5,000 sales that will take you to 1 million, right? Depending on the cost of the product that you want to sell. Very important. So planning is very, very important because it helps you to see the end from the beginning, but also helps you with the daily actions. Now, if you're going to do business a different way, there is no other way. You really have to get good at planning. You have to get good at, putting together something that you will refer to, because a lot of times, and you will get the ideas and you will probably be taken up by other things. And if you don't have somewhere you wrote, you're not going to do the right things at the right times because you don't know them, right? Because most of them, like I said, they will be received through insights, which means you will get these things, um, maybe at some point, right? In like a flash of a second, right? You get those ideas in a flash of a second, and then your mind will try, your head will now start to figure them out, right? They will come through inspiration to your subconscious mind, and now your physical mind, right, will now start to try to figure these things out. And the more he tries, the more he spoils things, because he likes to see, he has a past and a future, and he's trying to look at your past and say, hey, you don't have that amount of money to run this, right? And then he tries to tell you all those kind of things, but they are not necessary. So that's another thing that could actually really, really hinder, that could stand in your way of success when it comes to starting an online business. So, hey, share with me whatever you think, whether you're watching this live or recorded. Share with me whatever you think is really a major hindrance when it comes to online business, right? But I'll tell you what, these three things that I'm talking about today could kill almost any business. It doesn't matter the size. If you don't have a sound plan, you're gone, right? If you don't have a sound plan, there is no future for you. So it's very important that you really take this into consideration. So share with me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'm really happy and I'm really excited to have you watch this, but also I'm happy when you contribute, right? Because it helps others. It helps others to see or to learn from you as well. We learn from one another, right? When I read through the comments, I also think to myself, wow, I didn't know about this, right? So the more you do that, the better. So otherwise, thank you so much for watching this. I'm going to go to the next and last point on the 3 things that will kill your chances of success online. Yes, but before that, I want to remind you these sessions are every Monday at 4 p.m. BST, right? Now, depends on what platform you use, whether you're on YouTube. I can see some of you are on YouTube, some of you are on Facebook. Whether you're on YouTube, right? You can, kind of click the notification so that you don't miss these videos when they come out. But even if you miss them, you can always watch the pre-recorded because the notification will come to you, right? And of course, if you're on Facebook, you can always, click on the event and show interest so that you get the reminders. Very important. So who can actually guess the third point amongst the things that are killing your business? I would like to see a guess. Um, does somebody have a guess? Probably. Well, okay. Anyways, nobody is, but yes. So point number three, among things that are really killing your chances of success, lack of learning, right? If you don't learn, there is no growth. If you don't learn, learning is everything. And I'm not talking about going back to your school to get a degree, and then to get a master's, and then after that you go into. That's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about being able to learn something little every single day, something that concerns your business, something that is to help you to probably learn more, about your industry because things are always changing, right? Online systems are always changing, and you gotta learn. You can sign up to webinars. Other people are doing webinars. Sign up, learn from there. Go out to events. Very, very, very important to learn. Read books. Do some reading, and if you do, my friend, you become limitless, right? Because your subconscious mind depends on the type of material that it is given, right? But even if you don't give it material to feed on and produce, I call it raw material because that's what it uses to really reproduce things, to manufacture the kind of life that you want, whether in that area of your business or in another place, maybe your relationships or family or finance, whatever it is. So it's very important that you give him the raw material that is worthwhile, right? But I'll tell you what, even if you don't feed him, he will find something to feed on because he cannot remain idle. It's like the ground. If you don't grow anything, right, the weeds will actually grow. If you don't grow anything at all, the weeds will fill the garden. So that's how the mind works. If you don't plan anything, your mind will wander about and pick up ideas from the little songs, some of the negative songs that you hear, and it will cling on to what your neighbor shouted at you yesterday, and it will cling on to all of these kind of things, and now try to produce a life for you from all of this nonsense that it will have collected. But if you give it information deliberately, it's like a command. You're trying to tell it, this is what I want. And most times I'll tell you what, because you can only focus on one thing at a time, when you give your mind such information, your mind cannot uh, go on to the other areas to process anything else because it's busy digesting this stuff. So those are 3 things. One is overthinking, right? Overthinking is killing your business. Don't do it. And if you have a problem with overthinking, then go ahead. Most of the times if it occurs to you, you want to make a decision, but you find it difficult because you're overthinking it, then I'll tell you what to do. Just take a pause, Ring up someone, ring up a friend and ask them, if you were in this situation, what would you do? They will give you the simplest answer, and you will know within you that that's right. And if it's the simplest answer there is, usually that's just all you need, right? And sometimes, of course, the best thing, one of the best things with this method is the fact that they are not really connected to the problem. So they can speak independently. They are an independent party. So they can give you exactly what is necessary. So that's very, very important. And the other point is learning, right? Which I mentioned last anyway. But learning is very important. If you don't learn, learning one thing about your industry every day, learning how to sell, right? Maybe you're creating art, learning how to sell every single day, probably, joining sessions like these every week. That's part of the story, getting to learn will help you. Joining a community, right? So we have aggressive achievement group. You can check it out on Facebook, King Mighty Official. If you're on Facebook, you can join the group. Very important, and you will find that like-minded people join these groups. That's how you get inspiration to move. That's how you study. You find material that's connected to your industry as well, or material that will just inspire you to move to the next level, right? So that's very, very, very important to note. Remember, community is everything. Community is everything. You can never, just think about, you can't just, work, do things by yourself, right? If you don't see from what others are doing, you will never get inspiration. You will get the inspiration, but you will never get the desire to grow, because the other people will always inspire you to move forward. I'll just check out something really brief quickly, just to make sure I left nothing out. Yes, giving you a summary, and the last point I talked about is, of course, lack of planning. Now, if you don't plan, you're planning to fail in anything. Anything, you have a holiday that's coming up and you're not planned, you're not planning, you just want to wake up the next day and book the flight. Well, good luck. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to business, you may not get that flight, you may not catch the flight, you might miss it several times because of lack of planning. So hey, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm really excited. Leave me some comments, let me know what you think about these three things that I have shared. And of course, don't forget to join our group, Aggressive Achievement, on Facebook. And don't forget to like the page as well. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, like, and share this video with somebody, any entrepreneur who is doing online business. And of course, join the group Aggressive Achievement on Facebook. And of course, share it with someone else to join as well, so that we build a community of like-minded people who are really, really inspired about building the life of their dreams, right? So my philosophy has always been freedom. It's always been about freedom, doing everything possible to achieve financial freedom. And it is possible. Whatever it takes, it is possible. And that's my philosophy. That's what I believe. And I'm here to help anybody who believes that's possible as well. So thank you. I will wish you a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday. I think I have somebody here saying, uh, sorry, I hadn't checked. Someone is saying, hello, I'm not good at English. So can you say slowly? Um, okay. Right. So I'm really sorry about that. I didn't really get um, to see this comment earlier to kind of check. But yes, you can always rewatch the recorded session and slow it down so that you can get to understand what I was trying to talk about, what I was talking about. And of course, you can also use captions on Facebook. You can use captions. You can click the CC. I think it's called CC. It's a CC button. So it will generate for you captions so you can be able to follow everything. Same applies to YouTube. And I think Dante here was saying lack of funds. Yeah, I know Facebook is, I mean, YouTube is a little bit behind when it comes to delivery. So you might have had it after I had already, you know, gone past that. So lack of funds, of course, is one of the things. But I'll tell you what, it may not be the biggest hindrance or the biggest thing that's killing businesses, because truly the capital that you need is the capital that's up here. That's the capital that you need for your business. And I have proved it in almost everything that I've done. Most of the business that we have started, we have almost come to understand that we could actually start off huge and start off with almost nothing. So very, very important. But that was a good guess. That was a good guess when it comes to things that are killing businesses. Thank you, Dante. So those are three things we shared. If you would like, please watch this again and slow it down so that you can follow. And I think that Passcode was talking about him being not them being not very good at English. So, anyways, I'll sign out now. Have a wonderful week. I hope you have a beautiful Easter Monday. It's still Easter, so celebrate success, celebrate yourself, because hey, businesses are not built by themselves. They are built by the man, you. So celebrate you whenever you get an opportunity. And of course, when it comes to work, don't play. Work like your life depends on it, because it does, right? So thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful week.